Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. And I have an example of that I'd like to share with you. I've recorded 109 videos, and many I've re-recorded until I got it to where I liked what I had done. So I was always aware that people viewing the videos might be discouraged in watching if it was too long. If they felt, even just by knowing, oh, this is 19 minutes long, oh, I'm not going to bother with it. Or they have been watching and they now felt like, well, if Larry recommends something, I'm going to trust his judgment, which would be nice, and something hoped for. But everybody has their tastes. And I thought, all of a sudden, what if I did two versions of the topic? The topic for this was English gardens, people who were artists in English gardens. And I said, okay, what if I just tell people what it was I did? And I'd like to do that. And I won't need to introduce it the next time that I give one of these. So I will designate that this is 109 short version. I've done 109 long version, and this is now short version. And we'll see how that goes. It's an experiment. It's all an experiment. And I mean, I thought I had enough material to do maybe about 120 videos. But that was before I started doing some of the other going off on various branches. And while I think on my theme of trees, when I get back to it, there's still lots more that I wanted to share on trees. So, but I've been enjoying these side tours, these side adventures. I guess it's perhaps like somebody traveling, and they've got getting from this point to that point, and they're driving along and they see this sign or something. Says, oh, no, hey, you know, that sounds like it might be interesting. Let's detour off here and have a look at that. And being open to, you know, you meet someone, you're talking, they say, oh, you ought to see that medieval village. It's just marvelous, and you didn't even know it existed. So you explore and take their advice, and you're glad you had that encounter and heard about that place. It's like the friend that took me to Walden Pond. I don't think I would have ever thought to try to visit Walden Pond, especially in the winter when there was snow on the ground and the lake was frozen, but it was quite a memory. So I can stop now. That's a short version right there, the rationale behind behind short versions. But let me do this one, so you can time me from now to the end. There's a short version now. Start. I began speaking about the English artists and plants by looking actually at an American the story of George Washington Carver by Eva Moore. I've mentioned this in a previous video, and I was wanting to make a point about legumes that came up in the book that I was sharing. And I thought, well, boys, I know a book that gives a great presentation of it. And when I went and found it, and I started rereading it, and I said, you know, I'm going to read the whole chapter 12. So that's what I did. I read chapter 12 about the first years, some of the first years' experience for George Washington Carver as he went to teach at a place that was still in the growing stages and didn't have lots of funding. And and his resolve and his finding solutions to carry forth. Then I got to the book I wanted to talk about, which was Queen's Hidden Garden. It's Buckingham Palace's treasury of wild plants. David Bellamy wrote the text, and botanical paintings were done by Marjorie Layne. And I liked both the text and the paintings. And the story was filled with history. I guess you can't get away from history when you're looking at England. And so, page 13, the daisy family, in excess of 14,000 species. Then I shared page 16, why gorse was not a good plant to introduce in the British colonies worldwide, and explained. Page 79, why James I plan to make silk in England failed, and explained. And page 82, Sir Joseph Banks and King George III explained. 87, page 87, the mechanical mower invented in 1830. I maybe said a little bit about it, but I don't think I mentioned Doug Ptolemy. And so we're talking about expansive lawns in estates, and that became a symbol of fashion, of wealth. You've got all this land, but you don't need to grow anything on it. So you didn't farm it, you didn't plant it, you didn't turn it into a farm. You just had this lawn, but you had to maintain it, of course, or you hired people to maintain it at no small expense. And along comes Doug Ptolemy, who's an entomologist, who says these lawns are not totally devoid of life, but certainly attempt to kill other plant life than grass, which affects all kinds of natural life in the soils. He said if the U.S. took and transformed these grass lawns into something much more alive and vibrant, which could be done by planting wildflowers, shrubs, trees that would attract insect life. And the insect life, like caterpillars in particular, the benefits of the oak tree. But on his property, when he gives his talks, he often shows these amazing slides of various kinds of caterpillars. It's like walking in a nature preserve with all these things to observe and notice. Whereas when you've just got a grassy lawn, you don't, there's some weeds there. I mean, the mindset and with the caterpillars comes all the birds that need the caterpillars to feed their baby birds. The baby birds can't eat the seeds, but they can eat the caterpillars. So what a rich environment he's created at his own place, and inspiring others around the United States to consider this as a push for it in their communities. So the other advantage of having a part two, a short version, is that if I forgot to say something about something, I can put it into the revised version. Page 93, up pops Josephine and Napoleon and Père Joseph Redoti, that amazing artist of roses. And page 130. What happened to all of Linnaeus's collections? Where are they kept? Where are they seen? And how did they get down to England? And it involves Sir Joseph Banks, that we've talked about before, and he spoke to Sir James Edward Smith and suggested that he purchase it. And Sir James Edward Smith became the first president of the Linnaeus Society in England. So another little chance to throw a tidbit in there. Thanks. I'm going to experiment and see where these might go. But thanks for joining me today. Until next time. Bye for now.